I again say that that in cases of premature release, three grounds have to be seen. Antecedents, that is there any other FIR against the convict? Second, what is his or her conduct in jail? And third, if he or she is released, what will be the effect on the society outside where he or she is living?
On these three parameters, did these convicts fit?
I have not read the file completely. Neither I have seen the report, nor I was the inquiry officer. Neither I was the DM.
So how can you have the opinion one way or the other if you have not seen those?
I'm sorry?
Then how can you have an opinion one way or the other, whether they should be released or they should not be released if you have not seen the file? If I were to just go back to your own argument, sir, most humbly. All right, I think there's a problem with that connection. Mr. Alan Govan, in the meanwhile, I'll come to you and take in a view from you. The argument that the Congress party is making is that sentiments of the entire nation were involved in a case like this. Even if there are set parameters and set grounds under which the state can decide on a matter like this, this was an extraordinary case where the national security and the kind of message which is being put out should have been of utmost importance. Were these critical issues put on the sidelines for political gains, perhaps?
No, there is no, we don't think of political gains in this matter. We were the most affected party. We had lost our state administration. We lost the elections. We could get only one seat in the state legislative assembly immediately after that, because it is a great loss. And our houses, the DMK houses were broken, stones were thrown and beaten up, and our party newspaper Morosoli was burnt. The office of the Morosoli office was burnt. So the entire anger of the people was against us, as if we did this. But we were not. We don't know what had happened. But their action had affected the DMK most.
But Mr. Alangovan, one can't deny the fact that there were various domestic political factors in the state of Tamil Nadu that had forced the regional parties in many ways out of political compulsions to take a stand, which may or may not be conducive to the overall argument of sending the right message in the interest of national security. That's an argument you cannot ignore or cannot.
I don't ignore. I am not ignoring. National security is the foremost. But they were given punishment according to their involvement in that major crime. Right, some say that we were innocently caught by these people.
Well, as you said, Mr. Alangovan, that a sentence was confirmed, their conviction was confirmed, they were assassins of Mr. Rajiv Gandhi. That's the stated position. Mr. Alangovan and Mr. Sulaiman Muhammad Khan, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on the broadcast. That's all the time I have, sir. I apologize, I'm not able to give you time to respond. But a very critical order coming in from the Supreme Court, not without its share of controversy and debate. But all the convicts have been set free. With that, it's a wrap. But here's an interesting bit. If you've gone for a safari in an open-sided vehicle, you probably know what the risks are. And here's a new video which has gone viral on the internet today. The video is shot by a tourist from a safari car when suddenly a lioness jumps inside the vehicle. And what happened next will shock you. We'll leave you to find out more. Thanks for watching. Have a look.
Namaste, Jai Hind, and thank you for joining us on this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narasimhan. Are we taking the right stand in the interest of our country, ladies and gentlemen? It is about Bharat. It is about those forces who want to break, bleed our nation, because they have a deep-rooted and a seeded hatred for this country, and they just cannot get over the ghosts of 1971. And I keep saying this because time and again we have made the reference to K2. Kashmir and Khalistan. The agenda stems from the ISI, but the narrative flows from within, ladies and gentlemen. They have been able to systematically sow seeds of dissent. Offshoots of Hinduism, the larger, greater Hinduism now sees itself divided, and Sikhi is the latest target. They tried to do this in the 90s, it was quelled, but it is coming and resurfacing yet again. This threat looms large, ladies and gentlemen. It's very, very troubling, because what they are doing is they are using foreign soil to sow seeds of secession in India. They tried to try and do it within India itself. Now they are using migrants from our country who have emigrated abroad, who are living there, made another nation their home. They are sowing these seeds there, and that too very smartly. This is intellectual occupation or intellectual terrorism, if you can say it, while setting these narratives. How they are trying to show that Sikhi is different from Hinduism. That's where the whole discourse started. And now they are trying to say, let's separate whatever part of Punjab is within India, and Punjab, parts of Haryana, Himachal Pradesh is part of their entire Khalistani narrative, while keeping all of that which is now part of Pakistan separate and as a separate entity. This is how they worked on this narrative for nearly 2 decades, and it is seeing itself manifest. History is also evidence to this aspect, ladies and gentlemen. We should never forget. History is proof, stands testimony to this aspect, that in our country, and I will repeat it, in our country, all the doors to our forts, all the doors to our temples open from within and inward. So there are those who are within our country who, like termites, have rendered or trying to render this entire Vishalkaya tree, that is Bharat, hollow. They have done it in the past. Over the last 1,000 years, if not more, we have had these Ghar ke Bedis who have hurt us, who have hurt communities, who have hurt regions, riyasats, kingdoms, and of course dynasties. But now they are doing it to Bharat, an independent and free India. We have to be careful, because these doors which are opening inward, this is how the enemy is making their way in. Now we will, on this very, very special edition of The Right Stand this Friday evening, bring to you a series of developments which will point to a larger diabolical design. So lots of breaking inputs that we'll bring to you over the course of the next half hour, 35 minutes, as we set up this entire K2 threat, this K virus which is spreading all across Punjab. And this is serious, ladies and gentlemen. The big news related to Punjab, the conspiracy. This is the conspiracy to instigate Khalistan movement in Punjab that stands exposed. News18 India has got evidence of this. The active organization in Punjab has been named Waris Punjab Day. Waris Punjab Day was started by the late Deep Sidhu with very strong Khalistani narrative. It is now being appropriated by this man, Amritpal Singh. Amritpal Singh is a UK resident. The antecedents of this man and his intentions are under the radar of the intelligence. The source of funds is also under the intelligence radar. What's intriguing is that this man is not holding mass rallies. He is doing nukkad sabhas and mohalla meetings. He is getting on into the streets, and there he is spreading his bile, his vitriolic bile, which is tailored around the lines of Bhindranwale. He is trying to model himself like the next Bhindranwale. And that's the kind of narrative that he's peddling on ground, and he's getting a free run. This stands exposed. It's also a conspiracy that is being hatched to smolder Punjab and also spread this narrative northward into Haryana and then northward towards Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal, Haryana, Jammu, Kashmir. They're planning to do this entire belt if you were to pay attention. Now, the head of Waris Punjab Day, right now, this Sangathan, Amritpal Singh, is under the radar. Intelligence agencies suspect that there is huge amount of foreign funding that is coming through. They have started investigating the financial sources, the antecedents. Is this K virus spreading in Punjab? And is it being spread at multiple levels? Are there those who are also fanning or allowing this virus to spread within? This Punjab Todo threat is what we will focus in the first half or segment 1 of the Right Stand tonight. Sardar R.P. Singh, national spokesperson of the BJP, is with us. Dr. Monica Verma, strategic affairs expert. Ramneek Singh Maan, political analyst. N.K. Sood, former RAW officer, RNAW officer. Namaste and Jai Hind to everybody. Thank you very much. And the idea is not to just play politics. The idea is to understand the extent of this threat. So Sardar R.P. Singh, even though he is national spokesperson of the BJP, I'm going to speak with him as somebody who has repeatedly raised this concern of the Khalistani threat. He has been doing it for at least 6 to 7 years that we have interacted, Sardar R.P. Singh. So that is something which I will give you credit, and this is something which people need to take cognizance of. But before that, let's quickly look at this man Amritpal Singh before we open up the conversation. Who's this person? The next Bhindranwale Amritpal Singh. I want to go across to that before we start the conversation. Let's try and understand this. Top intel sources and agencies say, and our investigations editor Manoj Gupta has also helped bring this together, that they are probing the ISI's connection with Amritpal Singh. Amritpal Singh returned to Punjab after 10 years, spending 10 years abroad. He is now the chief of Waris Punjab. He's appropriated that party, which was left bereft of a head when Deep Sidhu died. And I'm sure a lot of our viewers would have seen that viral video of Deep Sidhu's funeral and the kind of chants that were being made at that time. Very, very unnerving. Waris Punjab Day was floated by actor-activist Deep Sidhu. Deep Sidhu's family denied giving him any position. Amritpal Singh is holding freedom rallies in rural Punjab. That's what he is doing in mohallas and nukkads, pushing the secessionist agenda. Agencies feel he is working for the ISI to destabilize Punjab from within. Khalistan Zindabad slogans have been raised at Amritpal Singh's rallies. Khalistani flags have been seen at his rallies. Amritpal went to Georgia before coming to India via Dubai. Home Ministry has asked Punjab government to maintain very, very strict vigil. But is the Punjab government, is the law and order establishment in the state really serious about this? Or are they just passing the buck or playing ping pong between Parali and the threat as far as law and order is concerned to Punjab? So that's a political question, but larger question is the security dimension. Sardar R.P. Singh, let me start with you. You have raised this concern. Can you hear me, R.P. Singh ji? We've just lost the line with him. He's back. Sardar R.P. Singh, can you hear me? Yeah.
I can.
Now, so even before the Aam Aadmi Party came into the scene, even before they came to power in Punjab, you have raised this concern कि वहाँ कुछ हो रहा है पंजाब में. Now, has this been building up over a period of time? And is it slowly reaching to a point where we will have serious concerns in the next 6 months to 1 year?
Anand, around end of June, I tweeted, said that 60 days to trouble in Punjab. Countdown for the 60 days. And just keep a track on that. After 2 months, the trouble has started there. I mean, the trouble was there, but the way it has emerged now. During some rural election, I could understand and foresee what's going to happen. And that's what I predicted. But let me tell you as a background, I was the one who went and met Bhindranwale in 1983 as a JUSU leader, JDU Institutional leader, as a general secretary of nation. And opposed him on giving a boycott call for the college students. And because I said you can't sit in a Guru Nanak Niwas and issue instructions and orders. And we are in democracies. So it's that ideology which I have been opposing. It's not that, I mean, individuals can come and go. I mean, Bhindranwale was there, he has gone. There was a new person who has emerged now as a new Bhindranwale. In between, there was some other person who was being projected as someone who can toe the Khalistan line. That was Deep Sidhu in between. But there are agencies, as you said, K2, you mentioned Khalistan and Kashmir put together. There are agencies who ongoingly work to promote this as a subject. I was in Nanded Sahib, the Hazur Sahib, during this Hola Mohalla. I was going to go there. When I came out to the Gurdwara Sahib, in the market, I saw the T-shirt of Deep Sidhu with Bhindrawanan and Khalistan Jindabad. I asked those guys, where did you get this T-shirt? He said, someone came and gave us free and we are selling it. We are making money out of it. So there are people who are working to market it just as a subject also. So is the case of Deep Sidhu also. I mean, Deep Sidhu, we all know what sort of person he was.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to define. He died in an accident. There were liquor bottles in his car. He was driving with another woman other than his wife. I'm not casting anything on it. This is what was the last approach. But he was projected as a hero because he took a line which was pro Khalistan or which wanted an independent state with the state. He told this line. Tomorrow, anyone who told this line will be supported by such elements. They keep an eye, and then they pick up people who promote this cause, and then they push that person into the Khalistan domain or into the Sikh psyche domain, and then project him as a new avatar. So was Deep Sidhu. After Deep Sidhu's death, there's a guy, Amarjit Singh, who are talking about. There are two Amarjit Singh now. There's another Amarjit Singh who protested on Shomoni Kalidal ticket also from Jalandhar. He also told similar line. But the problem is that we are lost in Punjab. I mean, I've seen myself 80s and 90s in Punjab. I mean, 25,000-30,000 children were killed. The youngsters were killed. Although part of the cleansing campaign of the militancy, but it was sad. I mean.
No, not see, sir. So then didn't we learn our lessons, Ramnik Singh Man? I'm just going to open this up and then let's talk about it threadbare. Did we not learn our lessons? If you are seeing such a narrative being built, how is it not being countered? Why has it not been nipped in the bud? Why are there 15 to 20,000 Sikhs turning up for these Khalistani referendum rallies in Canada? They don't know where the origins of Sikhi. They don't know the tied roots with Hinduism. They don't know the fight for centuries which has been fought against invaders and barbarians. They don't know what these pan-Islamists did to the Sikh families, the wives, the children, the brothers, the fathers. How is it that it's forgotten with this generation that they're standing with those very elements and saying, oh, we want to tear apart Hindustan?
Okay, so Anand, well, you've asked a host of questions, so let me try and address a few before I, really come to the crux of it. Number one, you see, Anand, what you see today is an investment by the Pakistani ISI for good 30-35 years now. And this happened primarily post 1984. And whatever brainwashing that's happened overseas, especially in North America and the Europe, is on account of the 1984, genocide. So, they have projected the government of India, which is in continuation. They would project probably even Prime Minister Modi as such, who has done a lot for Sikhs. I don't think any Prime Minister in the history of this country has ever done so much for Sikhs. Not even Dr. Manmohan Singh, a Sikh himself. So anyway, I mean, that's again a pure brainwashed society who've been shown pictures of the 1984 Sikh genocide. These people collect money from Sikhs. They have collected dollars, pounds. They have collected earrings, bangles, chains and rings from men and women overseas, and they've made a fortune out of it. So Khalistan essentially is an agenda of the Pakistani ISI. We all know it. But a lot of Sikhs, as you mentioned, the doors of temples and the forts have been opened inwards from the inside. So there are a lot of Sikhs who are involved in this. That's one part of the story. But the other part, what we see in Punjab today essentially is we need to ask an honest question. Did we vote for the Aam Aadmi Party, Arvind Kejriwal, Bhagwant Mann, or did we vote for Deep Sidhu's, or let's say, I will not call it Varis Punjab, they're the virus Punjab. These are actually viruses. Whether you voted for Goldie Brad, you voted for Lawrence Bishnoi, you voted for Amritpal Singh, you voted for who? So law and order needs to be maintained within the state, and you don't see much of it happening before. Kultar Singh Sidhwa, Speaker of Punjab Assembly, is visiting Khalistanis, known Khalistanis, separatists in Canada on his visits. Arvind Kejriwal sleeps over at known Khalistanis residences. So this is probably that payback time. They have allowed somebody who's not an Indian national spread so much hatred. And you are right. He's not addressing mass rallies. He's addressing small assemblies, and the target, the message they pass on is through the social media. They are using social media to their advantage, and this is their game plan. Now, he says that I'm here on a mission and I will leave very soon. Excuse me. His mission is to burn Punjab. His mission is to divide the society. We as Sikhs have been taught inclusiveness, not exclusivity.
Correct.
We have been taught us, not them. है ना? कि me and them, you and them. It's always it's a larger comprehensive society. So they are teaching, brainwashing Sikhs against the basic tenets of Sikhi. Interestingly, I was on a debate a few days back in Ludhiana. We were discussing that Amritpal's Vichar-Tara. I was like, Vichar-Tara is only that of Guru Granth Sahib. You know, man, we're not supposed to follow, man. That's why Guru Gobind Singh Sahib in 1708 had said, Guru Manyo Granth, Sab Sikhan ko hukam hai Guru Manyo Granth. So, this fellow tells people that Sikhs are gulams, that you are slaves. I ask you, Anand, you should come out. Your camera crews should travel all across India and randomly ask Sikhs if they are slaves and if they have given a right to anybody, Virus Punjab De, Amritpal or anybody, to represent them and to ask any freedom from anybody. I am a Sikh. I am a free citizen of this country. I vote for this country. I live in this country. I breathe in this air. I am not a slave. So whose voice are you representing? He's clearly voicing the ISI agenda. Correct. It is very simple.
The point
I mean, if that is something which is not understandable, and the big question mark, Anand, just give me 5 more seconds. The big question mark here is on Arvind Kejriwal and Bhagwant Mann on their leadership. Why are they, you give me an instance where he has made statements outside of Punjab. He would never come to Haryana, Himachal or make such provocative statements. He does all that in Punjab because he knows very well that he has the protection of the government and law and order is a state subject. No, whatever transfers through the social media is something he can deny.
Those who swear by the tricolor and they say that they will die by the tricolor cannot dent the tricolor and they cannot hurt the tricolor. That is something which is a commitment that people whose names you have taken have also made. So if they are fanning the flames of secessionism right under their wings, then they are committing treachery and treason by the tricolor, sir. That's a reality. The other part is you know that these are false narratives, but they are being allowed. Many years back, this joke of a chit of a person and who's now deemed a terrorist, who's got the status of a terrorist by our government. He should have been brought to nipped in the bud. He does not dare set foot on our soil, and he's sitting there and operating. This joke had put out a map, and where I said that you want all of Punjab. Where is all of the Khalistan? Where is all of the Punjab that sits in the Pak province of Punjab today? Pull that out.
They would never ask.
No, they never have that. They never ask that question because it's a false narrative. You catch them by their pants and all they know is how to run. See, Sardar RP Singh has also tweeted about the presence of the Speaker of Punjab with Khalistanis. He's marked them out in Canada and they're sitting and eating with them. So you're breaking bread with those very people who want to break your country. What kind of nonsense is going on if people are going?
How are you on a constitutional position? He's on a constitutional position.
Sir, my point is very simple. How is this being allowed and tolerated? N.K. Soodji, I am not going to name any one particular political party or any Indian citizen. If that person is doing this, you are committing treason and treachery against the tricolor. आप अपने झंडे, अपने तिरंगे को धोखा दे रहे हो. इस देश को धोखा दे रहे हो. पॉलिटिक्स के नाम पे आप इस देश को धोखा नहीं दे सकते. किसी को नहीं धोखा. ये गोपाल सिंह चावला को गले लगाने वाले कौन है? वो नहीं जानते ये गोपाल सिंह चावला इसका इरादा क्या है. आप चले जाते हो ननकाना साहब, आप उसको गले लगा रहे हो. कैसे लगा सकते हो आप गले? कोई भी लगाए, वो देशद्रोही है.
नवजोत सिद्धू
सिक्की के नाम
पाकिस्तानी चीफ.
That is exact. See, you are hugging a person as a political entity, as a political person is one point, but you cannot do it at the cost of your tricolor, of your country, of your own identity. You cannot do it, and if you are doing it, then you are doing disservice to the country. N.K. Sood ji, सबको सब कुछ पता है, फिर भी इनको इतनी खुली छूट है. How is this happening? It just looks like people get a free for all or a free for run the moment they have an anti-India agenda. The moment you're talking pro-Bharat, you get censored. That's what's happening.
True, sir. Actually, these political parties, as you said earlier, that the doors are always open from inside. And this is what is happening in India. Navjot Singh Sidhu had gone to Pakistan in August 2018 at the swearing-in ceremony of Imran Khan. He had met Pakistan's army chief.
Yeah.
He had met the Prime Minister of POK. After that, he went there in November 2018, I suppose, for this. Then he met Gopal Singh Chawla. And when people asked him that who asked you to go to this Pakistan, he said, my captain. They said, Captain Amritpal Singh. He said, no, other captain, yani bigger captain, Rahul Gandhi. So it's the Congress, it's the Aam Aadmi Party, because I won't hesitate to take their names. They are supporting them. Even the Khalistanis, they had said that they had supported Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab elections and they had contributed 100 crores. Not only the ISI. Today Pakistan is in doldrums. Pakistan is on the verge of collapse. But still, the ISI is active. They are playing their bad, old, dirty game. Not only Pakistan, some foreign countries are also involved. I would name Canada. Canada is openly supporting Pakistan, this Khalistanis. There are at least 4 ministers in his cabinet who have Khalistani links. When the Trudeau,
Trudeau ka ally was Jagmeet Singh, who's holding them to ransom. He himself is a Khalistan sympathizer.
So the only one more thing that I tell you, that in Canada, all the anti-Indians or those people, even the ISI people, they are very well decorated there. They are kept there, and if anybody murders anyone, as Karima Baloch, she was murdered by ISI. No, everybody knows that, and she had pointed it out. But the Canadian government did not take any action on her plea. You know, they said her death is natural and everything. You know, so the Canadian government is doing that. And on November 23, 2022, Indian government had passed the advisory note about the Indians visiting Canada. So Canada also did that. So India knows, Canada knows, and when Trudeau has visited India, PM Modi normally goes to airport to receive the foreign dignitaries, but PM Modi didn't go. Then there was a dinner in which Khalistani was involved. He was invited. PM Modi didn't attend that dinner. After that, he went to this Taj Mahal. PM Modi did not go. Even the Chief Minister did not visit him. But these people, they are on a mission. And I tell you, I won't have any doubt if even the Americans would be involved in this. They must be, because they are disturbed with India. Because India has been purchasing oil from Russia. So all this game is going on, and these are the countries, especially Canada, this US, and even UK to some extent. They support them. This is not the first time that they are doing that. I was in London. Large demonstrations, huge demonstrations used to take place by the Khalistanis. After that, we dealt with them. But that they again have started doing this because these people get disturbed when India becomes strong. So this is their point. But I tell you one thing, our agencies are keeping a close watch on their activities. But I tell you one more thing, that we will have to be more offensive with them. All those people who indulge in with Khalistan, they need to be blacklisted. We are very soft on this issue. Indian government must take, because intelligence agencies, their job is to give the information to the government.
Sir, today I'll tell you what is happening. The reality is you can blacklist them, but today nations our communication is happening without boundaries. It's not, they don't have to be physically present on Indian soil. It's the message that's been communicated. Somewhere I'll come to this, it's a larger story of narratives also which is coming to play. It's a larger game of we not being able to quell an anti-India narrative with a very strong pro-India narrative to tell people that Sikhi is very, very closely and tightly woven with Hinduism. There is no place for any other religion or any other religion to try and plant itself in place of Hinduism when it connects with Sikhi. And the other part, that because the roots of Sikhi are from Hinduism. There are Hindu families who have given their children, so that Sikhi prospers and Sikhi stands there, because the Sikhs stood there as solid walls. They are the ones who stood there along with the Dogras and the others to try and block the invasions. And they all came from this offshoot. And it's there even in Guru Granth Sahib in the text. All these mentions are there. It's just that we've not been able to tell this current generation that's the truth. And when you don't know anything else, whatever is being communicated, you will accept that. That's the reality that we are seeing. Now we got more news coming through before I go across to Monica ji and then go back to Sardar RP Singh and Ramnik. 1 second. K-Link. Now this is the big this is the big K-Link that is now coming through at this point to Pradeep Singh's murder. Sudhir Suri was killed and then Pradeep Singh, Khalistani opposers in Punjab attacked and it was the Rinda and Wadhawa hand that is now emerging. So after if you see, there is a K-link, Khalistani link which is now emerging to Pradeep Singh's murder. Pradeep Singh, beg your pardon, Pradeep Singh was one person who attacked Sudhir Suri. There was another person who was released out of jail. And the moment he came out, there was killing that has happened. Now this plot has come out and interestingly, among the assailants who have come to the fore, three of the assailants who have been arrested, two of them are actually minor and they hail from Haryana. So there are multiple connections here. The gangs which are being used, the gangs are working. Today we just broke here on CNN News18 on the Nation at 5 that Lawrence Bishnoi was using Indian Mujahideen numbers. These gangs have also been used as conduits or couriers by these Khalistanis who have been brought in. The moment they get into jails for petty crimes, they are being hired there. So clearly, this is a very, very hybrid game which is happening and a very intense game which is well thought out. That how do we use the loopholes? How do we use the vulnerable within the Indian society to break the society from within? Monica Verma.
Anand ji, if you look at the entire Khalistan problem, I think the communal playbook that was tried and tested very successfully in Kashmir is being repeated in Punjab as well. And the reason why, it's become so easy for the Khalistanis to do it, and it has been discussed in this debate that, Pakistan is behind this. But why, despite, these actors being present in Canada or UK or United States, and all these being run from Pakistan, why it has suddenly become so popular in Punjab is because of Punjab's own problem. If you look at the last 5 or 10 years in Punjab, drugs have created a huge problem for the youth in Punjab. They've become disillusioned. There's a lack of industrialization. There is no service sector, no jobs. And then they are drug addicts. So this section of youth has become a very, ready constituency for the terrorists to, I won't even call them militants or gangsters. I'd rather call them terrorists because this is what they are. If these Canada-based gangsters are getting IM numbers and they are using the networks which Kashmir-based terrorists have been using, there is a widespread link, a nexus between the Kashmir-based terror organizations and the Khalistan group. So I think all these resources, all of this is coming from the same source, which is Pakistan, with its sole goal of destabilizing India. But what's happening in Punjab has become a ready fodder. So I think unless we do not change anything about that, transform the situation of Punjab economically, I don't think there is any progress possible. And for that, Aam Aadmi Party has to be held accountable because they are the one who have won the mandate this time. And this religious flavor which is being given to certain problems needs to be taken away. And the state which was doing, I think 3 decades ago, we have seen what happened, and now it's sort of a repeat of that. I don't want that to happen again, and the only solution, according to me, is an economic transformation of Punjab, so that the youth have something more constructive and more credible to do, and they are kept away from the hands of these terrorists and the gangsters.
Yeah, but for that economic transformation to happen, there has to be an intent for an economic transformation, Sardar RP Singh. You are dealing with a challenge where you have an individual says, I am not a Khalistani, but he has not said anything against Khalistanis. There is no action that's been taken on ground to quell anybody who's sowing seeds of secession and dissent.
Anand, the problem started with the British today, and they sowed that seed of delinking Sikhism from the culture.
Yeah.
The culture means the Indian, the Hindu culture as such. We have a Sanatani culture. We said we have a Sanatani culture. We have been dealing, and this was done intentionally for future prospects. And they succeeded in this. I mean, they succeeded in this. But in 80s, it was done for political objectives. The latest book by the DPS Sidhu, one of the raw officers, has categorically stated that it was all pre-planned as part 1, part 2,
yes,
to paint 6 as demons and to garner majority vote. And now the same is being followed by the party which is ruling in the Punjab. For example, Mr. Kejriwal is on record saying, we know the people who are culprit in Bargari distillation and we will catch them within 24 hours. He gave that promise. And it's almost 6 months. The people there are waiting. So radicals take advantage of all such babblings, all such promises which are false promises which are made. And they radicalize youth to revenge that. And gradually, what is happening in Punjab, if you remember, Lala Jagat-Narayan was killed as a target killing. He was he's a high security person, but he was still killed. Similarly, again, people with high security have been targeted and been killed to bring back the communal tension in Punjab, so that there's a divide between Hindus and Sikhs, which is not possible. It never happened in the 80s also. It won't happen now also. But my other concern is that a lot of water has flown through Satluj and other Punjab rivers. The problem is that earlier it was only terrorism. Now it is the conversion also which is added to that.
I was about to come to that. Narcotics, conversion, both added to this terrorism, gun culture.
Yes. So drugs, conversion, gangsters, radical, ISI put together makes terrorism as a subject. So people are cut from their root and they are being used. And then they are being used for various objectives. That's the problem. But it needs a comprehensive policy. Only difference which I see today is that time government was involved into it. Today, government is aware and with Prime Minister Modi being being the Prime Minister, he will not allow anything of this sort to happen. He will not even allow any of these radicals to take up any such issues also. And already the MHA has already sent notice to the Punjab government for Amarjit Singh. They have already sent a notice to them, and he's already under watch.
Right.
So things are different, but still, I'm telling you, I'm a worried man. I've spent my youth suffering this. I'm worried. I don't want my children to suffer this, because this time will be very different. Because today, world has communication. Another second. Tools of communication has changed, and an advantage of tools of communication which has changed is been taken by radicals and terrorists also.
See, one of the things is, look at the irony. People like this Gopal Singh Chawla and Gurpatwant Pannun are getting traction. Those who don't even know the tenets of Sikhi, those don't even follow the 5 principles of Kirpan, Kesh, Kanga, they don't even, they are not even wearing a proper pug. So these are people who are going to talk, and they are going ahead and hobnobbing with people who openly sit there and disrespect and abuse Sikhism. They have not even taken up cudgels for the preservation of the holy pilgrimage as far as the Sikhs are concerned. It's all happening now, and they are going to talk, and they are getting traction. Ramnikman, this means that there has been a systematic disengagement from the core principles of Sikhi among the youth itself. They are so disillusioned they don't know, and the conversion mafia is also adding fuel to the fire. Along with the deras, these churches have also now come.
Anand, the problem is very complex, and the background of it is again very complex. But I need to, via your channel, say this, and with a very heavy heart though, that I need to issue this very stern and very clear warning that we are heading in the direction of 1984. The sort of precursors are again visible in the society. Yes, the blacklist will not work is because the youth have been brainwashed. The youth who are holding Indian passports in Canada and other countries have been brainwashed against India, and once they speak against India, they are then moved to take political asylum, and then they are used for the rest of their life against India. So this is a sort of a trap in which they fall. Well, when you talk about Gopal Chawla or you talk about Gurpatwant Pannu, Gurpatwant Pannu, for all you care, is a patit. He's not even a Sikh.
Yeah.
He does not have a free-flowing beard. He does not tie a turban. I mean, being a Sikh is a separate thing. He's a chain smoker. What he does in Hyatt Hotel in London is known to all. So I will not get into his personal life, but what he does, the way he's harmed Sikhs in Punjab, he has motivated people to, stand up against the state of India. And these youngsters, young boys who'd been lured to his provocations are languishing in jails, and he's never turned back to take care of them. That is one. The second part is, the more dangerous aspect of what I'm about to tell you is the emergence of virus of Punjab.
Correct.
So virus of Punjab headed by Amritpal is more dangerous than Gurpatwant Pannu or Gopal Chawla combined. Gopal Chawla is a Pakistani citizen and he's a ISI stooge, we all know it. And it is apparent from the way Gurpatwant Pannu and Gopal Chawla discuss about Khalistan, the maps that they issue would not even carry 1 inch of Pakistani territory. If you discuss about the Sikh Empire, Lahore was the capital city of the Sikh Empire.
Correct.
And it expanded all across the West Punjab, the entire West Punjab, right up to Balochistan. So why don't they discuss about the Khalsa Raj? Why don't they discuss about the borders which were held under the rule and reign of Maharaja Ranjit Singh? They discuss what they are told by their ISI handlers. It's as simple as that. This is a money game, and unfortunately Sikhs are falling for it. Let me come back to the point at hand now.
Yeah.
The government in Punjab, while I agree with RP Singh ji that the union government is not inclined the way, bada ped girta hai to dharti hilti hai sorts. It is, I agree with him. But government in Punjab is, I must, categorically say that is complicit. This is the second time I'm saying this on your program. Otherwise, why would somebody who's being so provocative, and let me tell you, when you put out this question that is Amritpal the next Pindrawale, I'll tell you, Pindrawala would have, he never spoken like this, not, till it was peak of militancy when he said, either you release the bus or we will kill 5,000 Hindus by the evening. He would have never provoked or divided society like this. Amritpal is in the garb of, getting the youths into getting baptized, यानी कि अमृत छकन दे प्रेरित करता है जी, और सिक्खी दा प्रचार करता है. But while doing that, what he's saying Sikh गुलाम ने, we are not gulams. He says सानू आजादी चाहिए है. We don't need आजादी. ये कहता है भारत दी सरकार ने सोचना, this is for the government of India to decide how they wish to give Sikhs their freedom. Either they give their freedom willingly, or we will snatch it from the government. This is all on record. So it is for the government of Punjab to act. It is for the Punjab police to act on him, to take whatever measures as prescribed in the IPC and the constitution. And you should do this. And meanwhile, if Punjab government is not willing, the union government or the MEA should, send him out of the country. They should deport him back to where he belongs. It is as simple as that.
Yeah. I've really run out of time here on the show, but yeah.
One thing which they play, and I'm saying in Punjabi and Hindi put together, कि सानू सारे हिंदू बना देंगे, सानू हिंदू खा जाएंगे. ये RSS BJP हिंदू बनाते चली है. I give a challenge. Ask them to show me one example where Hindu has converted Sikh into Hindu. And I'm saying on record that RSS and BJP is accepted. RSS is accepted on record that Sikh is a separate religion with separate entity. And there is no going back on that. Yes, we accept that Sikhs are separate religion with separate entity. But they try to play this up again and again. That Hindus humko kha jayenge. They don't talk about Christians.
No. The reality is, sir, कि हिंदू परिवारों से ही सिख आए थे. हर परिवार से एक बेटा सिक्खी की तरफ जाता, तो वहीं से तो आया. तो फिर हिंदू क्यों सिखों को मिटाने की कोशिश करेंगे? जो मिटा रहे हैं उनको तो आप गले लगा रहे हैं. जिन्होंने कहा कि या तो कलमा पढ़ो या फिर कलम हो जाओ, उनका आपने जो और आपके केस काट के तलवार से फिर आपको आपके गले काटे, उनसे आप गले मिल रहे हो. और जो आपके धर्म को ही गलत बताते हैं, आपके गुरुद्वारों के नाम बदल रहे हैं, आपके गानों को बदल रहे हैं, आपको उसको अप्रोप्रिएट कर रहे हैं, उनको भी आप खुली छूट दे रखी है. This is the game of narratives, sir. This is the game of narratives, and we have to fight that narrative with a stronger, solid, robust narrative. That's where somewhere I feel that there is failure that's happening from the SGPC, from those who are supposed to be the custodians of Sikhi, from those who are from the government, from the way our children should be educated in Sikhi, Sikh children should be educated. That's where, sir, the core problem is. क्योंकि हमारा foundation ढीला हो गया है. अब जड़ें काट देंगे तो फिर पेड़ कहाँ से खड़ा रहेगा? That's the reality. I have to wind up on that note. I thank all our panelists. We're going to wind up debate number 1 as we set up debate number 2, and this is a state that is obsessed with bleeding India, a military establishment, but it has no control over their own political lot. It's absolute anarchy that's happening in Pakistan at this point in time. They just don't know which way to swing, because wherever they turn, it's just destruction. That's what we're seeing. Absolute chaos. Stay with us.
நிக்கிற அளவுக்கு தான் நிக்கிறோம். இந்த வழக்கு காரணமா செய்யாத தவறுக்காக ஒரு 32 வருஷம் போராட்டம். இதெல்லாம் என்ன பண்றது, நம்மளுக்கு வந்து பேக்ரவுண்ட் இல்லாம இருந்துச்சு. அதனால வந்து நம்ம வந்து இதுல ஈஸியா மாட்ட முடிஞ்சிச்சு நம்மள.
சோ இன்னைக்கு வந்து
நல்லது நினைச்சது. இன்னைக்கு வந்து கோவாய் ஐயாவுக்கும் நாகரத்ன அம்மாவுக்கும் நான் ரொம்ப 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 நன்றி சொல்லணும்.
அவங்க யாரு?
அவங்க 2 பேரும் ஜட்ஜஸ்.
ஓகே.
இந்த கேஸ்ல இருக்க ஜட்ஜஸ் இல்லையா, அவங்களுக்கும் அவருக்கு நாகேஸ்வர ராவ் ஐயாவுக்கு, ரமணா ஐயாவுக்கு, லலித் ஐயாவுக்கு, சந்திரசூட் ஐயாவுக்கு எல்லாருக்கும் நான் ரொம்ப நன்றி கடன் பட்டிருக்கேன். இதுல சதாசிவன் ஐயா தான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட்.
இன்றைய விதிக்கு பிறகு வந்து உங்களை வந்து அந்த தீவிரவாதின்ற அந்த முத்திரை குத்துனாங்க. அது வந்து இன்னையோட அழிஞ்சு போடுன்னு நினைக்கிறீங்களா?
அது அழிஞ்சு போனாலும் அழியாத்தாலும் நான் வந்து தீவிரவாதி இல்லைன்னு எனக்கு தெரியும் இல்லைங்களா. என்னுடைய மனசாட்சி என்ன சொல்லுதோ அதுதானே முக்கியம். சொல்லுங்க பாப்போம், யார் வேணா என்ன வேணா பேசிக்கிட்டு, எனக்கு அதை பத்தி கவலையே கிடையாதுங்க. சரிங்க, பேசி முடிச்சுட்டு நான் இன்னொரு கால் வருதா?
ஓகே. உச்சநீதிமன்றம் வந்து உங்களுக்கு இப்போ ரிலீஸ் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க ப்ரீமெச்சூரா. அதை பற்றி உங்களுடைய ரியாக்ஷன் சொல்லுங்க.
ரொம்ப மகிழ்ச்சி. 6 பேரும் வெளியில வந்ததுதான் ரொம்ப ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம். மற்றபடி 32 வருஷம் முடிச்சிட்டோம் ஜெயிலுக்குள்ள. நாங்க என்ன சந்தோஷம் இருக்க முடியும் எங்க வாழ்க்கையில இதுக்கு மேல?
இவர் பேரறிவாளன் ரிலீஸ் ஆனப்போ உங்களுக்கு ஒரு நம்பிக்கை வந்ததா, ஒரு ஹோப் இருந்ததா உங்களுக்கும் இதே மாதிரி ஆவுண்டு?
நிச்சயமா இருந்தது. ஏன்னா எனக்கு வந்து பேரறிவாளனோட குறைச்சலான செக்ஷன்ஸ் எனக்கு வந்து 302ம் 120பியும் தான் என்னோட செக்ஷன்ஸ். ஆனா வந்து அவங்களுக்கு வயர்லெஸ் ஆக்ட் அது இதுன்றது இல்லை. எனக்கு எந்த சென்ட்ரல் கவர்மெண்ட் ஆக்டும் கிடையாது, சென்ட்ரல் ஆக்டும் எனக்கு கிடையாது. வெறும் இந்த 302 கேஸ் தான். அதுவும் நான் செய்யாத கொலைக்கு 17 பேரை நான் கொலை பண்ணுன்ற மாதிரி எனக்கு ஒரு கெட்ட பேர். இதுல மற்றபடி எனக்கும் இந்த கொலைக்கும் எந்த சம்பந்தமும் கிடையாதுங்க.
நீங்க வந்து என்ன சொல்ல விரும்புவீங்க? நீங்க சொன்னீங்க 32 வருஷமா நீங்க தவிச்சிட்டு இருந்தீங்க இந்த ஒரு தண்டனையினால. என்ன சொல்ல விரும்புவீங்க? அது அரசாங்கமா இருந்தாலும் சரி, இல்ல தமிழக மக்களா இருந்தாலும் சரி, அவங்க கிட்ட என்ன சொல்ல விரும்புவீங்க நீங்க?
32 வருஷமா எங்களை மறக்காம இருந்த தமிழ்நாட்டு மக்களுக்கும் தமிழ் மக்களுக்கும் நாங்க ரொம்ப கடமைப்பட்டிருக்கோம். எங்களை வந்து மறந்துருப்பாங்க அவங்க தான் நான் நினைச்சிட்டு இருந்தேன். ஆனா வெளியில வந்து பார்த்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் தான் எனக்கு தெரியும் அவங்க யாரும் எங்களை மறக்கல அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. ஒவ்வொரு தமிழருக்கும் நாங்க நன்றி கடன் பட்டிருக்கிறோம். ஏன்னா இந்த கேஸ் வந்து மண்மூடி போயிருக்கோம். ஆனா நம்ம மக்கள் தான் இதை வந்து எங்களுக்கு உயிர் கொடுத்தாங்கன்னு கூட நம்ம சொல்லணும்.
உங்களை வந்து இந்த கடந்த ஒரு 30 வருஷ காலமா உங்களை வந்து தீவிரவாதின்னு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. இந்த கொலை கேஸ்ல முக்கிய அக்யூஸ்ட் அப்படின்னு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. இதை பத்தி என்ன சொல்லுவீங்க நீங்க?
நான் வந்து செய்யாத கொலைன்றதுனால எனக்கு வந்து என்னோட மனசாட்சி எப்பவுமே கிளியரா தான் இருந்திருக்கு. இது நாள் வரைக்கும் நான் வந்து அந்த கொலை செய்யலன்றது, அது இல்லாத 17 பேருக்கும் எனக்கும் என்னங்க இருக்கு, என்ன மோட்டிவ் இருக்கு எனக்கு? நீங்களே சொல்லுங்க பாப்போம். யாரையும் கொலை செய்யணுன்ற அவசியம் எனக்கு இல்லவே இல்லை. நான் நல்லா படிச்சிருக்கிறேன், எனக்கு கை கால்லாம் இருக்குது, நல்லா வந்து வேலை செய்யறதுக்கான எல்லா விதமான தகுதியும் எனக்கு இருக்கு. அப்படி இருந்துச்சு நான் எதுக்கு ஒரு கொலையை செய்யணும்? அப்படின்னு தான் நான் எப்பவுமே நினைப்பேன். அது மட்டும் இல்லாம அந்த மாதிரியான நினைப்புல தான் நான் வந்து இன்னைக்கு வரைக்கும் உயிரோட இருந்தேன். நான் கண்டிப்பா வெற்றி பெறுவேன்னு எனக்கு தெரியும். நான் முதல் நாள்ல இருந்தே நான் அதை நினைச்சேன், நம்புனேன். எனக்கு நியாயம் கிடைக்கும்னு, வெல்லும் அப்படின்னு நான் நினைச்சேன். அதே மாதிரி சத்தியம் ஜெயிச்சிருக்கு இன்னைக்கு என்னோட வாழ்க்கையில. யார் வேணா என்ன சொல்லிட்டு போட்டோம் நான் ஒரு கொலகாரி, நான் உண்மையா சொல்றேன். என் மனசாட்சி இன்னைக்கு வரைக்கும் கிளியரா இருக்குது. நான் நிஜமாவே சொல்றேன், அதை நினைச்சாதான் என்னால தூங்கவே முடியும்.
நீங்க வந்து சிறைச்சாலையில் இருந்தப்போ காந்தி குடும்பத்தினர் ராகுல் காந்தி, பிரியங்கா காந்தி இவங்க வந்து உங்களை பார்த்தாங்க. அவங்க கூட என்ன என்ன பேச்சுவார்த்தை நடந்தது? அவங்க கிட்ட என்ன சொல்ல விரும்புவீங்க இன்னைக்கு?
இன்னைக்கா அவங்க கிட்ட நான் உண்மையை தாங்க சொன்னேன். அதே மாதிரி இன்னைக்கு வந்து உண்மை ஜெயிச்சிருக்கு. அதுதான்
அவங்க வந்து உங்களை மன்னிக்க
Back on the right stand, ladies and gentlemen, with this focus right in the neighborhood where this entity is fast hurtling towards balkanization because it's on the brink of absolute chaos. There's not just civil conflict, the clouds are darkening. There are riots in several Pakistan cities. It's an absolute state of anarchy. The fundamentalists are running riot. There is hardly education has gone for a toss. Civil society just doesn't know which way to turn because there's nothing more civil about it out on the streets. It's absolute political turmoil. There is calls for removing the Prime Minister, removing the Home Minister, removing the ISI man, or else, says Imran Khan. On the meantime, this man, Imran Khan himself, has got no credibility left given the realities of who he's been associating with and where his loyalties lie. Imran's aides are warning revenge attack. There is conflict over the new army chief. At every level, the state Pakistan is in absolute flux. Is it on the brink of anarchy? Let's try and understand. There is fear of There is huge fear of civil conflict. There are signs of impending collapse of the state, institutions. Imran's mayhem threat is out there. He's called out and he is actually rabble-rousing, and rabble-rousing in the name of deen. That's what he's doing. And he's trying to use that and trying to match that along with justice and try and see if it gets purchased. They have tried to politically milk this entire, as they call it, an assassination attempt on Imran Khan's life. Although there are many who question that version. Meanwhile, there are threats to remove the Prime Minister, Home Minister, the ISI man, or else this ISI Major General who's sitting in Islamabad and calling the shots. That's what they are alleging. They're threatening big consequences if sackings are not done. There are key Imran aides who are going around threatening revenge over this attack while the long peace march was going on. The political turmoil continues to spiral. Ruling PMLN has rejected Imran's call for early elections. There are other aspects which are coming to the fore where the government is now going to deal with Imran Khan's long peace march and protests. There are confrontations that are coming through that threaten the entire democratic process, or whatever that fledgling democratic process, the charade which is there. Allegations, conspiracies. Then going forward, there is also more conflict which is around over the new army chief, who will be appointed next, and will that person be appointed on merit, or will it be Bajwa's man, or will it be Bajwa who will muscle through and another extension void all constitutional norms, or will he force himself further? Imran, in the meantime, has abandoned the push to sway selection altogether. He's backtracked on that front. A recent corps commander meet was indecisive. General Asim Munir may be made the army vice chief to avoid any conflict. So they'll create two heads now. Will that avoid conflict or further add to the confusion? All these aspects remain. Absolute state of anarchy in Pakistan. Why should it matter to us? Oh, because they're next door neighbors. All of that is going to spill over. Some act of desperation or idiocy could hurt Bharat. Lieutenant General KJ Singh, Army veteran, defense analyst, joining us. Barrister Ali Tahir, Pak political analyst, should also be with us in a bit, and Dr. Tara Karta, So let me ask General KJ Singh, how would you see this current situation? Is it something where it happens once in every 5-6 years in Pakistan? Would you brush it off like that? They will still continue to exist? Or do you believe this time around the situation is a little beyond that, little more than that? It's a cause for worry.
Anand, Jai Hind. Good to be back on your show. Basically, what is happening in Pakistan is imploding destruction of various institutions. It's so worrying that in our neighborhood we are seeing this open kind of a defiance on the streets, civil unrest, and okay, we can say that Imran was removed. It was not a very fair thing but he was actually made also in a similar manner when he was. It was attributed to Khalai Makhluk, the army which had hoisted him up there. So when he went out, he's taken on this Hakiki Azadi March. And in the process, unfortunately, all institutions are being destroyed. We've seen a drama in Punjab where Hamza Sharif tried to be the chief minister and then he had to be replaced by Parvez Alahi. The army itself has got its hands very dirty in this process. Because if you remember last year, Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan March was sponsored by army. So when you sponsor such marches, you give vent to fundamentalists, then the same thing is going to come back and bite you. And that's what is playing out in front of us. Imran Khan, who is, it's so surprising. He is a man who spoiled the relations with USA and even China.
Yeah.
And then economically, Pakistan was in such a mess. They were on FATF grey list. And here he comes back and he fights not 1, 2, but 6 elections.
Yeah.
And he wins 5 of them.
Yes.
So how does Pakistan public take such things? It's very, very worrying. And actually, despite the fact that we can draw some comfort from the fact that Pakistan is not doing well, but it should not be in a state of anarchy. So there is a need on part of everybody, including army and other institutions, to resolve this. You can't allow democracy to come out on streets and have these kind of marches. And here, see, I am also worried on one thing. In my perception, the attack on Imran was probably done by a maverick only, because the army would have done it very professionally. They wouldn't have given him a chance.
No,
they would have eliminated him like
it's a sad state of affairs that any maverick, if I were to go by your version, can walk out on the streets and shoot at anybody. And it also happened in a state that is being governed by the PTI and its ally. Dr. Tara Karta is with us and Barrister Tahir also with us. So let me ask you, how serious do you see the situation, or do you believe this happens every 5 years, 4-5 years? So it's just the same story repeating itself. There is a flowchart, very popular flowchart that runs around the intelligence agencies, which says that the army creates confusion, comes as the solution provider. Then again, there is a cycle of perceived democracy in Pakistan. Then again, the army gets in, the military establishment gets in, creates a situation of flux just to maintain its relevance and importance. Would you agree with that, Ali Tahir, or do you believe there is perhaps a tipping point now where the people will say enough of the establishment's meddling? Democracy in its true sense deserves space in Pakistan. Is that possible?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, thank you very much for having me back on your show. And I would love to be on your show for the reason that it is never a shouting match. I always come in and learn something from your guests and always come in and give my point of view as well. So very respectfully, I would say that I would not agree with the analysis that has been made so far in the show. We are not at the brink of collapse. We are not at the brinks of anarchy. I am in Karachi right now. I've just finished a jurisprudence class. Everything is normal. Everything is calm. Of course, there's some political there's some political heat that's been stirring up for quite some while now. And there's a lot of polarization in the society. There's no doubt about that. But otherwise, the institutions are strong, and I think that these institutions will be able to control the situation. Now, I would quote Winston Churchill here. Winston Churchill, when England was going through the worst of the German bombardment, he said that until the courts of law in my country are working, we cannot lose. And if you look at Pakistan right now, the courts are working, all the other institutions, including the Election Commission and including the armed forces, are working. However, we do not in Pakistan. We've not had a very good history with the establishments meddling in Pakistani politics. And we did legally, theoretically, we in 2007, our Supreme Court brushed the army back to the barracks when they refused to obey the orders of the military establishment. And since then, of course, there has been a particular fight between some political factions with regard to the role of the establishment in this in the politics. But I do hope that everything that happens in Pakistan will happen according to the constitution and according to the law. The situation that we are in right now was a result of a no resolution confidence being submitted against Pakistan's Prime Minister, which was a constitutional way of transfer of power. And right now, the institutions are simply stating that if another party wants to come into power, there can only be a constitutional mode of transfer of powers. This is not a Pakistan that is in the 1970s or 80s or 90s anymore, where another institution would come in and make
forcibly
a coup and take over the country. Neither is it in the sort of a position.
But there are reasons, Ali Tahir, which experts who are watching this region carefully, saying that there is a reason why the establishment is not moving to seize control, and they want this entire aspect of democracy to prevail, because all other funding sanctions will all stop. Any kind of help from any powers will stop the moment there is an exert of martial powers and martial laws imposed or a forceful takeover happens. But how are situations developing? I totally agree. And I'm happy that you're saying things are calm in Karachi. But Sindh is different. Karachi is different. What's happening in Islamabad, what's happening in the Pak province of Punjab, it all emanates from this region only, this Pak province of Punjab. And there has been a regional conflict on that aspect. The politics also differs, and it's the Sindhi parties or parties from Sindh who are actually posing a challenge and who are right now in power. The PMLN, the PPP, all of them find their origins from Sindh, from Karachi, and the dynamic is quite unique there. But let me just go across to Dr. Tarakarta and ask: would you say that it's a state of flux? It's hurtling towards anarchy, or would you say that this will resolve itself like it usually does in Pakistan?
No, in part I would agree with what Mr. Tahir says, is that, the images of crowds and everything tends to get enhanced on the media, right? So you tend to get a view that things are out of control when they're not. But all the same, there is a fact that we have never seen this kind of violence and this kind of outright criticism, name calling of the army. And let's face it, we may not like it, but the army has been the most stabilizing force. In Pakistan, stabilizing, quote unquote stabilizing. Now the present problem is that one force which seemed to be holding this together, if that is eroding from within, which is what we are being told that there is a break, there's a difference of opinion within the army. There certainly is a difference of opinion between retired officers. If that is happening, that is dangerous for Pakistan. And plus, I would assume that, I think about a third of the country was under floods. This is no time to do political violence. I mean, if we are talking of, Nawaz Sharif, the whole question of choosing an army chief, he hasn't had much luck, has he? He's chosen, I think, 5 out of 10 army chiefs and really had a pretty bad time after that. So I think from this point onwards, what they're going to have to do, they're going to have to choose the senior most and be done with it, because this kind of violence is partly to do with the belief that the army, rightly or wrongly, that the army has been, as he said, has been interfering too much in Pakistan's politics.
No, they've been trying to make a move that the entire political wing of the ISPR should be done away with. The other aspect is the moment General Bajwa got that extension of 3 years, he paid or rendered ineffective the careers of nearly 21 lieutenant generals. So the numbers could be plus or minus, but there are a lot of disgruntled army personnel who believe that they couldn't get their moment in glory and they were denied what could be their due. So it all comes back to a knot as far as power and economics is concerned. So Dr. Tarakarta, KJ Singh ji and also Alita, thank you very, very much. I have run out of time, so I'm going to cut this conversation, but we'll closely watch what's happening and take this forward later through the course in the coming days. Winding up the right stand on that note, Zaka, ready with brass tacks.
Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zaka Jacob. Nalini and 6 other convicts in the Rajiv Gandhi assassination case have been given early release by the Supreme Court. This follows the release of Perarivalan last year. Most mainstream political parties, at least the 2 biggest ones, DMK and ADMK, have welcomed this move, but the Congress party and the BJP both have taken exception. Even though the Gandhi family have forgiven the killers, the question is being asked, what message does this send that the assassins of a former Prime Minister are set free? Before I get to that exclusive interview with Nalini, here's the story of the day so far.
"31 years after Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated in Sri Perumbudur by a woman suicide bomber of the LTTE, all 7 convicts who were sentenced to death for their role in the killing have now been set free by the Supreme Court. It started in May this year when the top court used its special powers to free one of the convicts, AG Perarivalan. Today, the Supreme Court ordered the premature release of all 6 remaining convicts, including Nalini Sriharan.
எங்களுக்கு ரொம்ப சந்தோஷங்க 6 பேரையும் விடுதலை பண்ணது தமிழ்நாடு கவர்மெண்ட்டுக்கும் சிஎம் அவர்கள் ஐயாவுக்கும் எல்லாத்துக்கும் நன்றி. தமிழக மக்கள் எல்லாருமே நல்லா பண்ணாங்க.
In 2000, Nalini's sentence was reduced to a life term after Sonia Gandhi filed a clemency petition pointing out that Nalini was pregnant when she was arrested. In 2008, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra met Nalini in prison in Tamil Nadu's Vellore. The sentence of 6 more convicts was also commuted in 2014. And last year, Rahul Gandhi said he had forgiven his father's killers.
I don't have anger or hatred towards anybody. Of course, I lost my father, and for me it was a very difficult time. So I felt tremendous pain, but I don't feel anger. I don't feel any hatred or any anger. I forgive.
While the Gandhi family has been vocal about not feeling any anger towards Rajiv Gandhi's killers, the Congress party fumed at the Supreme Court's decision to free the convicts.
Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, above all, is entitled to her personal views. But with greatest respect, the party does not agree with that view. The decision by the Supreme Court on the release of the assassins of Rajiv Gandhi is highly discouraging, dispiriting.
Tamil Nadu Chief Minister and Congress ally M.K. Stalin, on the other hand, welcomed the release, calling it a victory of strong legal battles and humanity. Successive governments in Tamil Nadu have been in favor of the premature release of Rajiv Gandhi's killers. But is it on humanitarian grounds or pure politics?
When I spoke to Nalini Sriharan right after the Supreme Court ordered her early release, she said that justice had been served after 32 long years. இந்த கடந்த ஒரு 30 வருஷ காலமா உங்களை தீவிரவாதின்னு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. இந்த கொலை கேஸ்ல முக்கிய அக்யூஸ்ட் அப்படின்னு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. இத பத்தி என்ன சொல்லுவீங்க நீங்க?
நான் செய்யாத கொலைன்றதுனால எனக்கு என்னோட மனசாட்சி எப்பவுமே கிளியரா தான் இருந்திருக்கு. இது நாள் வரைக்கும் நான் அந்த கொலை செய்யலன்றது, அதுல 17 பேருக்கும் எனக்கும் என்னங்க இருக்கு, என்ன மோட்டிவ் இருக்கு எனக்கு, நீங்களே சொல்லுங்க பாப்போம். யாரையும் கொலை செய்யணுன்ற அவசியம் எனக்கு இல்லவே இல்லை. நான் நல்லா படிச்சிருக்கிறேன், எனக்கு கை கால்லாம் இருக்குது, நல்லா வேலை செய்யறதுக்கான எல்லா விதமான தகுதியும் எனக்கு இருக்கு. அப்படி இருக்குச்சு நான் எதுக்கு ஒரு கொலையை செய்யணும் அப்படின்னு தான் நான் எப்பவுமே நினைப்பேன். அது மட்டும் இல்லாம அந்த மாதிரியான நினைப்புல தான் நான் இன்னைக்கு வரைக்கும் உயிரோட இருந்தேன். நான் கண்டிப்பா வெற்றி பெறுவேன்னு எனக்கு தெரியும். நான் முதல் நாள்ல இருந்தே நான் அதை நினைச்சேன். நம்புனேன். எனக்கு நியாயம் கிடைக்கும்னு, நீதிக்கு வெல்லும் அப்படின்னு நான் நினைச்சேன். அதே மாதிரி சத்தியம் ஜெயிச்சிருக்கு இன்னைக்கு. என்னோட வாழ்க்கையில யார் வேணா என்ன சொல்லிட்டு போட்டோம் நான் ஒரு கொலகாரி. நான் உண்மையா சொல்றேன், என் மனசாட்சி இன்னைக்கு வரைக்கும் கிளியரா இருக்குது. நான் நிஜமாவே சொல்றேன், அதை நினைச்சாதான் என்னால தூங்கவே முடியும்.
நீங்க வந்து சிறைச்சாலையில் இருந்தப்போ காந்தி குடும்பத்தினர் ராகுல் காந்தி, பிரியங்கா காந்தி இவங்க வந்து உங்களை பார்த்தாங்க. அவங்க கூட என்ன என்ன பேச்சுவார்த்தை நடந்தது? அவங்க கிட்ட என்ன சொல்ல விரும்புவீங்க இன்னைக்கு?
இன்னைக்கா அவங்க கிட்ட நான் உண்மையை தாங்க சொன்னேன். அதே மாதிரி இன்னைக்கு வந்து உண்மை ஜெயிச்சிருக்கு. அதுதான்
அவங்க வந்து உங்களை மன்னிக்க,
அவங்களெல்லாம் ஹர்ட் பண்ணணும்ன்றோ அவங்களெல்லாம் பாதிக்க வைக்கணும்னோ என்னோட மனசுல ஒரு நாள் ஒரு துளி கூட எண்ணம் கிடையாதுங்க. இது வந்து அவங்களோட பர்சனல் விஷயம் இல்லையா, அது நம்ம பேசக்கூடாது இல்லைங்களா?
ஓகே ஓகே. உங்க கூட மற்ற 6 பேர் இப்போ ரிலீஸ் ஆயிருக்காங்க. அவங்க கிட்ட என்ன சொல்ல விரும்புவீங்க நீங்க? 6
பேருக்கும் வாழ்த்துக்கள் சொல்லணும். அதுல ஒருத்தர் எங்க வீட்டுக்காரர் இல்லையா, எவ்வளவு சந்தோஷமா இருக்கு எனக்கு. பாவம் எங்க வீட்டுக்காரர் 20 வயசுல உள்ள வந்த, அதனால இன்னைக்கு வந்து அவரோட விடுதலை வந்து ரொம்ப ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமா பார்க்கிறேன். அவர் போய் அவங்க குடும்பத்தோட இருக்கணும்.
இந்த கடந்த ஒரு 30 ஆண்டு காலமாக உங்க குடும்பத்தினர் அவங்க என்னெல்லாம் தவிச்சிருக்காங்க, அதை பத்தி கொஞ்சம் சொல்லுங்க.
எல்லா விதத்திலயுமே தவிப்பு தாங்க. அவங்க எல்லாம் வந்து வீடு கொடுக்காம நிறைய கஷ்டப்பட்டிருக்காங்க. வீடு வீடா மாறி இருக்கிறாங்க. அவங்க வீடு இல்லாம வாசல் இல்லாம இன்னைக்கும் நாங்க வந்து பிளாட்ஃபார்ம்ல நிக்கிற அளவுக்கு தான் நிக்கிறோம். இந்த வழக்கு காரணமா செய்யாத தவறுக்காக ஒரு 32 வருஷம் போராட்டம். இதெல்லாம் என்ன பண்றது, நம்மளுக்கு வந்து பேக்ரவுண்ட் இல்லாம இருந்துச்சு. அதனால வந்து நம்ம வந்து இதுல ஈஸியா மாட்ட முடிஞ்சிச்சு.